Having a narcissistic mom is literally not for the weak. She literally told me that her hate for me is because I hated her. I have hated her since I was born.
You like anybody more than me. You're the one who's been hating me since you were 18 months old. That is.
My mom never liked me, and becoming an adult made that reality impossible to ignore.
They always have problems with their daughters because daughters are the ones that remind them of their failed dreams and their ambitions. To me, it looks like an insecure woman. Her daughter's success intimidates her.
Welcome to the shit moms.
My mother has narcissistic personality disorder, and she was extremely abusive towards me.
The phrase, "my mother hates me," sounds like an impossible phrase, as the word mother is recognized worldwide as the embodiment of love. A mother is usually a child's first love, that one person that you can always rely on, you can always call in your times of need, in the lowest times of your life. So, where did society get it wrong that phrase has suddenly turned into something that is associated with a word as negative as hate? So today we're going to be looking at a very difficult but very important topic, and that is the realities of living and growing up with a narcissistic mother. Let's get started with the video.
You like anybody more than me. You're the one who's been hating me since you were 18 months old. That is your personality.
You don't want us to guide your life.
Do you see yourself smiling in any pictures? No, because you've always been like this.
Madeline, it's not a in here saying, well, you know, part of my problem is
you know what?
guys.
I need to call Papa Ellis right now and tell him he ruined my life. Man, fuck, did he do a shitty ass job? Shit, I'm gonna blame all kind of fucking shit on him. Come on, call your dad while you're at it too. Scoot your ass up. How do you think I was raised, Madeline? You have no idea.
But I put it this way: the way Mom was raised, you would have jumped in the bayou and drowned yourself. You think your life is bad?
And that's the brother in the background, by the way, supporting the mom. Now, we know from the pattern of narcissistic parents, they usually have their favorite child, who is called the golden child, and the scapegoat, whom does no good in their eyes. It's always the child that gets the brunt of all the rot of the family. There's obviously something wrong with a mother that would blame a toddler for something that she knows nothing about. Imagine blaming your child for something they did when they were babies, when they were little, when they had no sense of self. Their sense of reasoning is gone. They can say and do anything as long as it pleases them, as long as it suits their narrative. They're going to blame any person to make themselves look good in these situations.
Having a narcissistic mom is literally not for the weak. She literally told me that her hate for me is because I hated her. I have hated her since I was born. Like, I wouldn't let her feed me, change me, hold me, nothing. And so she said that is why she hates me, because I hated her first. Like, what the what? She just refers to me as a stupid bitch all the time, and like she thinks that I'm supposed to respect her when she talks about me like that. And then another thing is she wants to be around my kids, but the way she talks about me is how she talks about me in front of my kids, and she will never be allowed around my kids. My kids were coming home and saying all of these things about me, and I'm like, where did you hear that? Oh, grandma said this, grandma said that. Like, my kids were legit disrespecting me. My son was saying crazy things to me because my mom was literally calling me a dumb bitch, a hoe, all of this shit in front of my son, in front of my kids. And then she doesn't do this in front of people, only behind closed doors. She likes to cry. Oh, my daughter did this, or she said this, or she said that, and try to get everybody to play the sympathy card and feel bad for her. I don't give a fuck how anybody feels about me anymore. That used to bother me. I don't need to clear up shit. Maybe she should be a good person, a good mom, a good grandma, but she will never change, and she will never be a part of my life.
My mom never liked me, and becoming an adult made that reality impossible to ignore. As a society, we talk about bad dads all the time, but we do not talk enough about the mothers that despise their children. I thought things were going to get better when I became an adult, but Unfortunately, they just got so much worse. I was the oldest of 2, and I truly believed my mom never liked me. Now, it wasn't because she ever said those exact words, but because everything she did made me feel like I wasn't the child she wanted. For years, I was ashamed to even talk about it. I felt guilty, embarrassed, like I was betraying her for being honest. She would embarrass me, belittle me, or remind me what I wasn't every chance she got. But the older I got, the more I seen the pattern. It was never about me. It was about her shame, her insecurities, her unhealed wounds. She never had healthy relationships with women in her life, not even her own mother. So being her daughter felt like stepping into a role she didn't know how to play, and honestly didn't want to. I had food, I had a roof over my head, I had clean clothes, but I didn't have a mother. I had someone who was responsible for me, but never connected to me. I have so much to unpack that I kept quiet for so long, protecting people who watched my childhood unfold and never said anything. But it's time, and this is my truth.
Now, most narcissistic moms, if we watch closely through the patterns, would notice that it's usually the girls. They don't usually have a lot of problems with the boys. As a matter of fact, most of the time, the golden child is usually the boys. They always have problems with their daughters because daughters are the ones that remind them of their failed dreams and their ambitions. To me, it looks like an insecure woman. Her daughter's success intimidates her. It's like a mirror. It shows her what she would have done with her life if she had chosen better. The hate is a self-hate. It comes from a place of pain and dissatisfaction with one's life. That's all I would say. And that's why I'm a big advocate of living your truth as a woman. It's very important for a woman to achieve her dreams, her success, and, explore and live your life to the fullest before deciding to have kids. Because if you don't achieve what you wanted to achieve at your young age, other people's success would be a reflection of what you would have had, which you never took the chance on yourself to go pursue. That alone is going to turn into hate. And it's not just going to be your daughters that are going to be hating on. It's going to be every young girl.
My mum would be the last person I would go to if I needed advice, comfort, validation, anything along those lines. I'm low contact with my mum, and if I was dying, put it this way, if I said to my mum I was dying, she would find a way to blame me. She would find a way to make me feel even worse than I already would do at that time, and everything would be my fault. Every single little thing would be my fault, and it's so difficult because I am one of 4 to my mum, and all of my siblings, she favours them, she treats them differently. I want to say she favours them, but it's important to understand and note that it's not exactly like that she does favour them in a way. She treats them better because it's beneficial for her, and it enables her to control the dynamic that she has created with her children, which is really, really toxic. So yeah, welcome to the shit mums club. Welcome to the shit mums.
My mother has narcissistic personality disorder, and she was extremely abusive towards me for my entire childhood. I cut complete contact with her several years ago, so I have zero relationship with her. This is not a specific story, but I'm just going to tell you how it was in this home. I am the oldest of 3. I have 2 younger sisters. My mother treated all 3 of us completely differently. I got the classic abuse, so physical, emotional, psychological abuse from her. I guess you could call me her scapegoat. So yes, all 3 of us treated completely differently. The sort of most fucked up part of my upbringing was that I was basically an indentured servant in my home. My mother did not have a job. She never had a job the entire time I was living there. She volunteered for the PTA. So to keep up appearances, once in a while she'd let me out to like a school function, like a school dance or something, just to make it clear that, I wasn't being held hostage in my home or a prisoner. Other than that, I was never allowed out socially. My friends, even my best friend, didn't know me. I would tell my friends what was going on, and I was just sort of known as that girl that was always grounded, that was never allowed out of the house. I had a lot of teachers who expressed concern. I think they could tell something was up, but it wasn't clear that there was abuse. I, didn't have bruises all over my face, and I wasn't super forthcoming with my teachers because I didn't know what would happen if my mom found out that I was complaining about her. And then there were a few parents of other kids that my mom was friendly with that kind of also suspected something was not right. I think that they were also too afraid to do anything about it. So
honestly, it just upsets me when adults would be aware that a child is being abused and somehow they're too afraid to speak up or take the necessary action to remove that child from that unhealthy environment. Everybody's just somehow minds their business and, pretend like it's none of their business. They're too busy. We forget that the fundamental part of this whole world and life is childhood. That's the foundation of a person's life. And if a person is scarred at that little and early stage in their life, it's going to mess up their entire life, their entire adulthood. So that's why it's very important to speak up for a child that we all know is vulnerable. So why would you see that a child is being abused, whether it be the parent or their siblings or just a random person abusing a child, and you are aware, the signs are there, but you would not react, you would not take action, because to you it's none of your business. You have bigger fish to fry. You have your own problems. This is where humanity has gotten it all wrong, in my opinion. Because one child that you don't save today is going to be the adult that may likely unalive somebody tomorrow because they are depressed, because they are angry at life, because no one ever showed them that there was some kind of compassion or love existing in the world, because you let them get abused, and somehow that spiraled into hatred for life, for people, that when they get into adulthood, they hate everybody. They would be angry at the world that nobody ever came to save them. If you listen to the stories of criminals and people that have done horrible things in the world, it always started from an adult abusing them, treating them like trash, being hateful toward them, not having any ounce of love from any adult. It's always an adult in the situation keeping quiet and letting the abuse perpetuate itself. So let us protect our kids out there. I am an African and I believe that a child is not just raised by one person. It takes a community to raise a child. So when you see a child that is being abused and you keep quiet, that child is going to be in the same class as your child. And they are going to start by bullying your child. Yes, they are going to teach your child hate. You may think, as long as it's not my child, it's none of my business. But that child is going to be in the same environment as your child in school. And when they start portraying those behaviors that they learned from home that was done to them, or start perpetuating it on your child, that's when you would understand that we are all literally the same persons in this world. We are all connected somehow.
I don't blame them. I don't know what I would do in this situation if I recognized a child was being abused. So I don't blame them. It was a different time too. It wasn't as clear what was abuse back then as it is now. So aside from never letting me to the house and using me as an indentured servant, like literally anything she wanted done in the house, I did. My sisters did not have chores. I had all the chores. And my mom, when I think back, I don't have a whole lot of memories from childhood. I think I blocked a lot out. But my visions of her in childhood were sprawled out on the couch watching soap operas pretty much all day. And then once in a while doing something with the PTA. So she had a little office, like she would work and, piddle away in there. And then otherwise, she was just watching a lot of soap operas. And she'd cook for the family. That was one duty that she kept. But I was sort of meant to be there right beside her, not helping her cook, but cleaning up after her as she went. Like literally everything had to be spotless the second she was done using it. I was never allowed to watch TV. And my family watched TV in front, like at dinner time. They'd sit in front of the TV and eat. So I was often in the dining room by myself eating. I was often not allowed to even read books, which was just a huge source of joy for me. And my mom recognized that. So I wasn't allowed to read books. My bedroom was basically like a prison cell. I had a bunk bed. Even into my teen years, I had a little twin size bunk bed. I had a dresser and I had a desk, and that was it. I had zero electronics. Anything that could possibly bring me joy, I wasn't allowed to have. So to cope, I would take my lined paper from school and my pencils from school, and I would draw, because that's pretty much the only joy I could find. And it's probably why I am a professional artist today, because that was one skill I was allowed to develop, because she couldn't really keep me from having school supplies. So yeah, that's sort of the framework for my childhood. And there are so many stories, individual stories of ways that she messed me up, but that will give you a general sense for what it was like living in that home. And I left on my 18th birthday.
So basically, anything that gives you joy and makes you happy is taken away from you. Oh gosh, like she noticed that she loves reading books. She took that away from her. So you're supposed to be sad. You're supposed to be unhappy and serving her, basically. It's just like her telling you, like, how dare you try to be happy? How dare you try to focus on you? Who are you to think you're that important? Literally, your whole focus should be on her. Like, she's the most important person, basically, in your life. It's so sad that people have to go through this with your own mother, your own parent. It's just sad.
I'm on my way to therapy, and I'm really struggling, y'all. What do you do when you have a mother that is so toxic for you, and all you want to do is love her and have a good relationship with her, and she just makes you feel like she hates your guts? I sit and I ask myself, like, all the time, like, what did I do? What did I do to her? Why does she treat me like I'm the worst daughter? Like, why does she talk about people to me like I'm the worst daughter? And how do I prove to her that I literally want a relationship with her, and I want a good one? And spending almost 45 years on earth feeling so unworthy of the person that she didn't give birth to me, but she raised me from the time I was born. And I wish that I could say that everything was bad about her, because everything is not bad about her. And even though she did abuse me, even though she kept my father dying from me, I still love her. And I just wish that she loved me. I know it's not going to happen because she's stuck in her ways, and just a wish, you know.
The fact that she still seeks her mom's validation and love is a problem already. Because this kind of moms, you're never going to get that validation that you seek. She's never going to love you back the way you want her to love you. And the part where she said there are times that she's nice to her, she's good to her, she's not all bad. That's usually how narcissistic moms operate. Today they are nice to you, and tomorrow they are evil to you and wicked to you. They keep you, they keep you in that bubble of second guessing yourself and guessing, that's how they operate, and that's how they keep you gaslighting yourself and never believing that, what you're saying is abuse. They make you think that you're making things up. Like, she's nice, because today she's nice, tomorrow she's not nice. So you're literally in a dilemma. You're not sure. Sometimes you blame yourself and feel like, maybe you're the one overreacting. That's how they keep you stuck into believing that they're not being abusive, into staying in that bubble of chaos. Now, I feel bad for this young lady, and I hope that she realizes that she's never going to get that love and validation that she's seeking from her mom. Because it's not in their nature to ever understand. They are never going to change. So why bother? You're only hurting yourself.
Growing up with a hater mom was exhausting. Someone could be hitting every milestone, accomplishments, and every goal on their list, and somehow she would still find a way to tear them down. No matter how well someone could be doing, she will always find a way to pick their accomplishments apart, because their success reminds her what she never achieved. Even if she did achieve the same goals that they just achieved, she will still find a way to compare herself to them. Growing up with a hater mom teaches you that real confidence doesn't require you tearing anyone down. She taught you who she was, but it also teaches you who you refuse to become.
Moms are jealous of their daughters because most women make decisions that fit their life in that moment, but not necessarily the long run. So when your mom is like in her teenage years, in her early 20s, even in her 30s, right? The value that was wrapped around her youth, she couldn't fully comprehend that value changing as she continued to age. So all of her decision making was in the moment regarding her value, her identity, what men loved her, what relationships looked like, how she could move through the world, anything, okay? And what happens is, instead of actually creating any type of intrinsic value within herself, all of it was externally fed, okay? It was a feedback loop at that age. And as she got older and she didn't get the same experience out of life, but she raised you and starts to see you getting a certain experience out of life, this is triggering to her for two different reasons, okay? Number one, because it reminds her that the way she once moved throughout the world and the value that she perceived she had was not unique to her, okay? It is quite literally assigned to most women, okay? Most women, especially when you are young. And the second thing is that she gets a reminder there is nothing she can truly do to gain that value again because it was nothing she actually fed into herself or intrinsically owned, okay? And so it becomes very painful. And yes, the mom is disassociated from the daughter because she's not seeing you as like, oh, this is my daughter that I want to be in competition with. I purposely want to not love you. I purposely want to be jealous of you, whatever. No, it's just you are the closest person in proximity to her that is giving her that reminder and that trigger, okay? And most people struggle with contending with their emotions. So instead of doing that and letting you live your life all jolly, right, while she just processes what she's feeling, because the emotions themselves are not necessarily wrong, is what you do with them, okay? And so instead of doing that, the mom goes on and she tries to control her feelings by controlling the daughter. So making sure she sabotages the daughter, or people can't see value in the daughter. Basically anything that can take the mom's pain away by way of her not actually having to associate with it in any type of manner. But that is why when you see women who kind of feed into who they are, they build their own identity, they build their own whatever, and then they have children later, they typically don't deal with that same type of problem. And this is why you should never truly subscribe to the whole narrative of like, oh, when women wait, you know, to have a family, whatever, or be in a serious relationship is because they're trying to club and this, that, and the third. No, there are fundamental things that you just will not learn about the world yourself or how to go through it, how to treat people, if you literally do certain things too early before a certain development.
Like, I 100% agree with the last lady and what she said. It's very important not to buy into that narrative that motherhood is going to give you fulfillment as a woman. Nah. Because from examples, from people that we see, from other women's stories, the reverse is the case. It's not always the case. As a matter of fact, most of them turn out to be bitter women when they don't achieve much for themselves and, you know, quickly rush into motherhood. So this is obviously jealousy and envy. A narcissistic, toxic mom that hates her daughter is a woman that is unfulfilled in her life. Usually her daughter is the reflection of the life that she wished she had. Like I said, they usually extend it to other young women. The daughter gets the brunt of it because she's the closest person to her. It's just human nature. So that's all I see here. It's just blatant jealousy and unfulfillment. So that narrative that motherhood fulfills women, I don't buy into it. And I don't think you should buy into it. Because from examples, it's not the case. It's not always the case. Yeah, motherhood is a beautiful experience. It's one of the most beautiful things on earth. But you have to have your life. You have to have a life that you've built for yourself outside of motherhood. Short, you have to have the life built first before embarking into motherhood, before bringing your children to nurture them and to lead them through life. And if you have this kind of mother, narcissistic mother, you're dealing with this kind of mother, it is best to seek for professional help because you've been wounded, you're traumatized, and you need help to come out of that abuse and that trauma that you faced. And you should never feel shame that you had to live through this. The perpetrator of the abuse should be the one ashamed. The best solution is never to feel sorry for yourself. Just get help and live your life and stay clear from her. Set boundaries if you're ever going to let her into your life. Because she's never going to change. They never change. Most of them, they never change. They are stuck in their ways. I would like to hear in the comment section if any of you have experienced these kinds of narcissistic abuse from narcissistic mothers and how you're going about your healing journey. I know that not to come to the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe out there. Stay blessed. Stay happy. Don't let anyone steal your joy. Don't let anyone steal your happiness. Always put yourself first and never ever have a victim mentality. Everybody goes through something in life. If yours is having to deal with a narcissistic mom, it does not mean that you have it the worst. Every person has their own problems they're dealing with. You just need to learn to navigate your own problem and seek the help that you need and thrive in your life. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a blessed day. Bye.